All right. Welcome to another episode of Miracle Mindset for Men. This is episode 14. I'm your host, Hayru Dre, aka Dre, aka Handsome Hayru. Tonight I have a very special guest this evening. I want y'all to welcome my good friend, my brother, David.
What up? What up? What up? What up? What up?
What's
What
going
up?
on, man? How you doing?
Hey,
How you doing this evening?
I'm doing fantastic, bro. Hope you're doing well. Hope the audience as well.
Well, that's what's up, man. I'm glad that you actually I'm grateful and thankful that you took the time out of your day to share this space with me, and I really appreciate that.
But of course,
You
man.
know,
But of course,
yeah, we trying to build each other up.
it's nothing. Yeah, when you like minds, man, and you moving free with great character and abundance, man. You do what you do for people that you connect with, bro. It's nothing.
No, yeah, no, that's big facts, and I think we met actually for the very first time at the Gathering of the Masters
Mm-hmm.
last year.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
we see each other on Rich Show
Right.
doing the stream yard and stuff. You be having like the light code questions and stuff like that. I think you had
Right.
gave him a picture too, right?
I did. I did.
Okay, yeah. But yeah, that was a good time, man. I'm glad to connect with like-minded people that's
Yes,
on the
indeed.
same frequency as you and stuff. And
You're
yeah,
right.
I can just chop it up and build and try to make a difference.
Right. We
So
definitely are. We are.
yeah, listen, if I can't change the whole world, at least I can change at least one person's life.
There you go. And once you change yourself, bro, your vibration speaks louder than your words could even do. You know what I mean? So once you change that, bro, it's just your perspective and everything and how you move. It opens everybody else up, bro.
Yeah, I agree. So tonight's episode is called The Art of Shadow Work.
Mm.
So I was watching one of your YouTube videos yesterday, and you had an episode about shadow work, and you were saying some pretty interesting things, and you were talking about how you can't necessarily get rid of that shadow self, you just gotta learn how to live with it and stuff like that. And I agree.
Yeah. A lot of people want to try to kill or take away that aspect of yourself. With you, in my opinion, you can't. You gotta harmonize it. Take the lesson from it and then give it a place. And even if it doesn't have an active place, if it's just a reminder of how far you came, that can be sufficient as well.
Yeah, no, that's facts. So there was a quote about it was in Doctor Strange. The ancient one was talking to Mordo, I think his name was the black
Hmm.
guy,
Yeah.
and he was telling her, "Thank you for helping me get rid of my demons." And she told him, "We don't get rid of our demons." She said, "I just show you how to simply live above them."
Hmm.
Same thing with shadow work. You don't
Right.
get rid of your shadow side. You certainly learn to live above your shadow self.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
let's get into the art of shadow work. So, what is your definition of doing shadow work?
My definition is shining light on parts of yourself that you were either trained or you were told you need to hide.
Okay.
That's kind of this just a basic without going deep into any of those parts, but just shining light on those places because you may feel shame because yourself, you may feel shame because you may have made a mistake or whatever, or any kind of traumas, but just shining the light on those areas and being able to illuminate those parts.
So, how do you think like the shadow side of us is created for us to be working on that shadow work?
Well, I mean, it's various different things because you have, I think it's levels. So you have like childhood traumas.
Mhm.
You could even have traumas before you even come out the womb. Your mother may be dealing with stress and anxiety, and you may come out, what I'm saying, with some of those things, built in because what you dealt with in the womb. So childhood traumas, even, adolescent, adult, just your different traumas, different things that have happened and the different things that sometimes we create stuff in our minds. We forget that we do have an incredible imagination. And sometimes we create things that maybe necessarily didn't happen or didn't happen the way that we, they did. We just created a different narrative in our mind. So I mean, I think there's definitely different levels of that.
Okay. So how do you deal with your shadow self? Like what
And
techniques and stuff that you do?
so, me to be honest with you, bro, just acknowledgement first. You know what I mean? And I did that just through meditation. Through meditation, I started with um some things that I just know about myself. I just started with those things, like, because again, speaking about myself with that creativity in your mind. Like, I can create things that it didn't happen that bad, but in my mind, I'm taking it to the edge with how it happened and how somebody says something or however it could have happened. So I learned just to kind of hone through what actually happened or how to deal with that. Just meditation was a big one, and also breath work. Breath work helped me because not only you're sitting and you're focusing on your breath, but then you're creating a rhythm. Now I'm creating a rhythm for how I feel about myself, because at that time you're focusing on your breath. But what I realized is that I was feeling better by doing breath work.
Okay.
It made me feel better. It made me actually, to say better, but it made things clearer. I say it like that. It made things clear in my mind, how I process and how I kind of compartmentalize the different things that I was trying to just, not necessarily fix, because I don't think we're broken, but say, okay, what can I do better, or did I respond to this correctly? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I don't know what you mean. How I deal with my shadow work, being more self-aware of the things that I think, say, speak, and feel.
Right.
And that is a very challenging thing to do
Mhm.
because we're so programmed on autopilot,
Right.
and like sometimes we're not even aware that we're aware, and we're not even aware that we even there, because it's
Right.
like you driving, like you driving, but you're not driving. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
Because
Yeah,
you
you're absolutely
zoned out driving, and so you like snap, like oh snap. You know what I mean?
right. Right. Right.
So that's how I feel about me working on my shadow work, just being more self-aware of the things that I think, say, speak, and feel.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like if something is going on, like it was something that Dr. B had taught. He was talking about breathe 5 times. He said, think 5 times before you speak, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I would think 5 times before I let somebody make me, you know, like
Angry.
react in a,
Yeah.
like
Right. Right.
in a disagreeable way, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then because I would tell people, I remember I was telling this lady I was dating a while back, and she asked me, "Why you always so calm?" I'm like, "Why do you always take so long to answer a question?" I said, "Because if it's something that's in a disagreeable, I have to think 5 times before I speak. Because by that third time, me rethinking that, I'm already forgetting what I was gonna say. And so by the fifth time, my mind is completely to a space where like I don't have nothing negative or disagreeable to say."
Right. Right. Right.
And you can like kind of tell with people that are not aware of the things that they do, think, say,
Mm-hmm.
and feel. Because
Right.
you be like, you just did that. They be like, oh yeah, you be like,
Yeah. I
okay,
just snap. Yeah. I just
yeah,
blink.
yeah. So yeah, shadow work. I think it's important to do the shadow work because it gives you a sense of self recognition, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you recognize who you truly are.
Mm-hmm.
But before you can do that, with shadow work could also be in, and I talked about this in one of my episodes. You got to learn to accept yourself.
That's right.
You got to accept who you are and what you are, the flaws and everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then once you accept that, you got to forgive yourself, which is probably the most difficult thing a person can do is forgive themselves
Right.
because they're so used to always beating themselves down or somebody saying something to them
Mm-hmm.
and making them feel less than. But
Right.
you got to understand that you're allowing people to make you feel away. You
That's
need
right.
to allow yourself to feel the way you want to feel.
Mm-hmm.
Don't believe what yourself tell you because you might be domesticating yourself thinking that you're not right.
Right. Right. You're right. You're absolutely right. You're right. And
So
it's funny you say that like that, because I think sometimes too, the reason why we do that, because we try to beat people to the punch. It's a it's a trauma response. We
mhm.
try to say what we think people will say to us if we made a mistake. So then when they say it, they don't feel as bad. oh, I already know that about myself. I already said that to myself. But that's not, to me, that's just so like you said, a negative way to, or disagreeable way to go about it, because that negative self-talk is the best or the worst talk. You know what I mean? So trying to get ahead of somebody talking negative about you, to me, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. You always should talk positive, even if you do make a quote unquote mistake or you could have did something better. You still hold yourself in the highest regard. But like you said, if you don't know yourself, you can't even trust yourself. So even when you do say something good about yourself, you're like,
But do
nah.
you really believe it? Right. But do
Right.
you really believe it? You believe
Right.
what you're saying, right? Do
Right.
you
You're
really believe
right.
what you're saying?
Right. Right. So yeah, it definitely goes, because once you know yourself, the better you get to know yourself, and the better you just process those different things, that trust. And then once you get to start talking real nice and positive to yourself, oh, you'll be at another level.
Yeah. And I think you should have like a self-evaluation.
Check in. Mm-hmm.
Like just sit there and think about the day you had,
Mm-hmm.
whether you had like a good experience or a bad experience, and think about, okay, when this happened, how did I respond to that? And
That's
what can
right.
I do better the next time? Or I did good this time. How can I stay consistent on doing
Mm-hmm.
this? And I think
Mm-hmm.
that self-evaluation, a lot of people really don't do because they're
Right.
not really self-aware.
You're right.
And it's a challenge because I think we all go through a time where we're on autopilot,
Mm-hmm.
and then you be like, "Oh, wait, hold on, wait."
What I say?
Like, let me
What
step
I
back
do?
into it. Let me step back into it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right. Right.
So, how was it with you? You a husband and a father, right? How are you able to still do your shadow work and you still have to be a father and a husband?
I mean, but that's, to me, it's just, those are only parts of me. I'm still David. I'm still, all the different things I believe about myself. So to me, again, like we just talked about, once I start to know myself and understanding who I am, then I can bring my full self into all those different relationships. I don't have to try to, this is my opinion, I don't have to try to be a certain way with certain people. You know, I can always just be myself around, everybody that I see in my family and everything. Like for instance, and this, I had to work through this. I got a 21 or 22-year-old son, but we had some issue where he didn't want to talk to us when he got like to high school or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't realize, so maybe years after that because we didn't have a blow up, we didn't have anything. If you would have asked him what happened, he can't tell you. Or you asked me, I mean, we didn't have an argument or nothing. He just stopped wanting to come around. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So at that, and I didn't know I was doing this. So I thought that I was broken. I thought that something was wrong with me. So I would never, or I would be real cautious, not my girls, but any other kid that try to come in contact with me, I'll kind of be a little standoffish because I thought I was broken and I didn't want whatever was going on with me to affect that kid because I didn't know what was going on with him and why would he do that? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that was something that I had to work through, and I had to get to know myself and understand that I'm not perfect, but you still have to grow and evaluate yourself each step of the process. So like you just said, you got to check in with yourself, do that evaluation. Okay, did I do anything, or what did I do? Of course, there are some things I could have done better, but I'm not gonna hold myself hostage because I didn't purposely not, want to talk to him and that kind of thing. But that's just what that one situation. So I just try to be the best version of myself in every situation, as a husband, as a father. And I got my son, he's one way, and then I got both of my girls, and they're similar, but they're different. You know what I mean? So you kind of gotta, especially when you have moments, you gotta be who you gotta be with them. You just kind of understand who they are and how you want to be towards them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's a lot easier for people who are by themselves to do the shadow work than it is. That's a lot of stuff to juggle.
Oh no, for sure. No, it is. But again, once you're comfortable with yourself, now
Mm-hmm.
you get to understand your triggers and you understand, like you said, because so the way that I operate, I kind of do that a lot during that, like throughout the day. I'm checking in with myself, checking in, because even if something my girls may do, or my wife may say something, or just we got some kind of conflict, but I try to hold on. Is this does this need to be conflict right now, or can we just understand where we at with it, and then just let it unfold to just allow us to be able to move forward in a positive way? Because sometimes because I know me again, you got to know yourself. I know I got a smart mouth. I know that about me. I know that about me. And like you said, sometimes I can just say something and I'll be like, I'll say what I'm gonna say. You know what I'm saying? Or I feel how I feel. Again, you gotta process it, understand, do I need to say this like this, or can I say it a different way? And sometimes I don't, catch it. Sometimes something makes,
we human, right? We know.
right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I know to me, it's about understanding who you are and how you operate in each situation. Some people may need to get whatever they need to get. They may, because you may need to stand up for yourself in that way. But also understanding how not to say nothing to me is also standing up for yourself, because your silence is power.
Oh yeah. Because people ain't know what you thinking, and now they wonder about what you thinking. Yeah.
And even when you seem still to be confident, and you not, even though you silent, but you still moving like, right, exactly. And not to say you acting like it don't, but even if it does, still being able to process that and still thrive in that too. You know what I mean? Why does that bother me? These things, these processes can go on real quick in your head, especially when you had the work, like you said, the different check-ins and the different just consistencies about how you go about doing this shadow work, and starting with small steps and small pieces of yourself. You don't have to jump into, what I'm saying, the mama daddy trauma. You don't have to do that right at the jump. Start with the little stuff. And once you start to do that, you create consistency, and then that's where the trust come in. And then when situations happen, they come up, then you're like, oh, I handled that well, as you should, because you're growing. Or you may like, dang, I may not have should have said that. That's growth too, because normally you wouldn't even have thought about it. You would have just let it do its thing and whatever. But now you're actually thinking about it, and you're like, dang, I need to handle that a little better, or I need to, think about this in a different way next time this shows up.
Yeah. And speaking of that, somebody made a comment about you need the triggers to let you see where you are. That was actually going to be my next question, or my next statement, really. Everybody feels like when they're going through their spiritual journey, they feel like they healed, right? Or they feel like they've been working on the shadow work, right? Until something makes you mad that challenges you to see if you really did. And I always feel like the universe does that so much. When you feel like, no, ain't nothing gonna bother me, I'm cool. And then something happens, you be like, yeah, you know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And it's like,
absolutely.
and then it's like, and then it don't need to be nothing little either. It'd be like something major. You be like, what the? And you want to like spaz out so bad. And then you be like, you know what? This is the universe testing me to see if I'm really healing, or if I'm really healed, if I'm really working on myself. And it's trying to say, like, okay, you said this is what you wanted, right? You wanted the healing, and let me put this obstacle in your way and see if you're gonna pass this test. And so that shadow work, and it be times like when I felt like, give a little bit of background about my situation, how I got to this space. So a few years ago, I contemplated suicide, right? I went through deep depression. This is like back in 2022. And at that point in time, I felt like I was being more so of a burden than a blessing. I just felt like everything that I was doing around people, I wasn't really being useful to people, right?
Right.
So I didn't want to be here anymore. And at the time, I didn't like actually want to take my own life. I just didn't want to be here anymore. So I was like, whatever happened, happened. But consciously, I know like I got to be careful what I say, because that's exactly what's gonna happen. So I had a talk with God and I had to talk with myself, and I said, just get me out of the situation. What do I need to do? And I'm a firm believer that God doesn't give you anything that you ask for. He gives you the opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
So you choose to take the opportunity or you choose not to, but the choice is yours.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt, and it was at that moment when I needed to change my life for the better, not just for me, but for the people that surround me, because people around me still care, but they don't know how to care for me if I don't know how to care for myself.
Exactly.
So, and then that's when the shadow work started happening. I started taking workshops, reading books. I started doing I went through my rites of passage and stuff, and I just started doing grounding more, started talking more, being more grateful and thankful for what I already have. And I think that's like the most important part to me for shadow work is gratitude. Because we feel like we have all this stuff we're not thankful for, because we're like, well, shit, I deserve this because I have it. But just be thankful that you have it. Because remember when you didn't have it and you wanted it, now that you got it, be grateful that you have it instead of gratitude, because that's when your life creates more abundance.
That's right.
And then when you have an abundant mindset, you can alchemize your life to whatever way you want.
Anything, bro. Yes.
So,
anything. That's funny you say that, bro, because you was in that space then. I was in that space like throughout my 20s a few different times.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because I just had a lot going on. And I realized just doing meditation and my breath work, that the version I am now was the version that was telling me, because I kept hearing or kept feeling, hey, just stay the course. You were okay. I understand this situation is this. Stay the course. That was this version of me now doing that. You know what I mean? That was the version of me that this very moment when I do my meditations and I'm just talking and doing everything, talking to my different, selves and everything. That was what I was hearing. Because at that point I felt like the same way. I was lost and feel like I was valuable, to anybody, Muslim. Like I just didn't know what else to do with anything. So that's yeah, I get it, bro. I get it.
Yeah, and I think, and the reason for me creating this platform, because I know it's a lot of men out here that feel the way we felt, and they don't have no outlet, and they have nobody to talk to. They feel like they can't really talk to nobody, because they really don't know who's all going through the same thing. And then it's the ego at the same time. Like,
for sure,
you don't want nobody to look at you weak or soft or like you can't handle it.
Right.
And I think that's a big issue, especially within the Black man community, is that we don't express what we're going through, and we let it bottle up, and then it becomes suicidal thoughts, or it becomes acts of aggression because we don't know how to control our emotions, because we're going through something internally, and now we're bringing it to the external world.
Right.
And it can cause us to end up in jail, or it can cause us to end up 6 feet under.
That's right. Just pop off for no reason, or always angry, or you just insufferable when you're around the people that that like you said care for you, and they can't even be around you. You know what I'm saying? Because you're just mad, angry all the time. And I get it too. We got a lot that either we have put on us, societal pressures, or just the pressure of just being a provider, protector, and all those different things that we've created in our mind that we should be, instead of just taking care of ourselves, understanding who we are, working through the things. But if you ain't got nobody that's laying that out for you, either seeing it or getting in touch with somebody that has done it and can recognize it in you, because like you said, a lot of us not going to say it, but once you've been through that, you can recognize when you talk to another man, you can see different things in them. I don't know if you ever realized that since that time that you can, when you talk to other men now, you can, even though y'all laughing, kikiing, but you can see that there's just something there that's just it ain't right.
So the thing with me, and this is how I knew this was my purpose for sure. People open up to me. I don't even have to see it. They just feel like they have to just talk to me.
Tell you everything.
And And then when they ask me what you think, or they
Mm,
ask me I just know the answer, and I really don't know the answer, but I try to give them the best
mm-hmm.
sound information that I can, coming from a
Right.
logical, clear-minded standpoint.
For sure.
Like I talk to a lot of different men about how they feel, like the situation they go through,
Mm-hmm.
and they just let it out
Right.
because I'm not letting them feel like they're alone. I tell them,
Right.
yeah, I've been through something similar. I want them to feel
Mm-hmm.
like you're not alone in this. Because if
Right.
I'm sitting there just listening, I'm not giving you no feedback, or if I'm not saying, damn, I've been through the same thing,
Right.
then you're gonna shut down because you're like, damn, I can't tell you nothing because you
Right.
can't
Right.
relate to
You
me.
don't, yeah, you can't understand. You don't even get it. You don't even
Right.
get it.
So whether they got baby mama drama or marital drama or life drama and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that, at
Mm-hmm.
some point I can relate to a lot of the things besides the baby mama part because I don't have any kids, but for the simple fact that I know what it's like going through stuff in a relationship and you messing up or you feel
Mm-hmm.
that she's doing this or doing that. I've been
Right.
there,
Right.
and I just try to give like advice that's asked. I don't ever give unsolicited advice. If you don't ask me, I won't say nothing.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. We're not in a conversation or whatever. Yeah. I'm not just about to come up on you and nah.
Yeah,
Nah.
because I don't want to overstep no boundaries, right?
Nah. Nah.
Because that's how you create enemies.
Mm-hmm. He think he
And,
know it all. He think he nah.
right.
No. I ain't even trying to
So
be in that mode.
right. So that's why I was just like, I will always like, well, my ears are open to listen if you want to
Right.
talk
Mm-hmm.
without judgment.
That
Because
part. That part.
I can't judge you because I got my own shit that I was going through.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And what did I look like trying to cast a stone at you when I got stones back here
No.
that been thrown at me and shit?
Right.
So it could be a challenge with the shadow work for sure.
Almost
But I
definitely.
also feel like the shadow work is also how you interact with other people who are going through stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because I
Right.
think it shows your strengths and weaknesses to other people. That's how I see it. Like you would never truly know who you are until you're around other people. Because then
Right.
you will know what you like, what you don't like. You
Mm-hmm.
know what you can tolerate, what you can't tolerate. You know what makes you happy. You know
Right.
what makes you sad. You
Mm-hmm.
know what makes you glad. You know what brings you joy. You won't know that by yourself because you're not experiencing anything with other people to know those emotions.
Right.
And like I think in quantum mechanics, they talk about that everybody is a reflection of you, a different aspect of you.
Mm-hmm. Different
So
mirror. That's right. That's
right,
right.
so you're learning yourself through other people, but you're learning another version of yourself through other
Mm-hmm.
people. So it's
Right.
letting you know, like, do I like that person or I like that version of me? No, I don't like that version of me. So let me stay away from that type of version of me. Oh, I like
Right.
this version of me. So let me be around that one. Let me make friends with that one.
Mm-hmm.
So do you teach your kids and wife about shadow work?
Oh yeah, yeah. Me and my wife have had a conversation about that. Or I always say like, well, they need to do some work because she'll talk about something. I was like, they ain't did no work, or she know what I'm talking about when I say that. But yeah, my kids, not necessarily, because they're still very young, and I know they got their things. But what I do with my girls is I ask them just periodically, is there anything I need to apologize, or if there's anything I need to explain that may have happened, you didn't really understand, you felt the type of way. I try to do that with my girls, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I try to go about it in that way.
Yeah, being the leader of the household, they watch you. And
That's yep.
when they see you like, oh, daddy's doing this, my husband's doing this, they gonna follow suit. Because
Hmm.
they see like the man that you are and you're becoming is like an aspiration and an inspiration to them. And that's what's up. I hope to one day get
Oh,
that type of,
you will, you will,
you
you will,
know,
man.
it's no rush though,
I feel
but
you.
but it would be nice to have a family of my own and
Hmm.
with them kids' face every time I come through that door, and they just happy to see me.
Absolutely.
I know that's a wonderful
Oh, it is,
feeling.
bro. It's super empowering, and no matter what I think men go through, you have to, especially when you're putting in the work. And I'm not talking about really just you perfect with your shadow work or you perfect with how you move and operate. If you're there, you put in your effort to try to be better each and every day. I mean, the way your kids, with your wife, the way they just, value you. I mean, you gotta understand that's really a superpower. And so I say that part, that is a superpower. But to me, to enhance that is when you start to value yourself and their validation is extra. That right there is hands down to me the best way to move with any relationship. Pour into yourself first and let
Mhm.
everybody else, whatever they're gonna do or whatever they don't do, just let that be what they're gonna be. Because once you start to do that, the way that they see you is gonna be totally different. Because the way you move is gonna be different. You just feel, I'm telling you, feel empowered moving through different rooms or different situations when you start to pour in yourself and then you got their backing. I mean, you can't be stopped once you get into that space.
Superpowers, huh?
Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure, man. Yeah, because I'm telling you, the way life unfolds for you when you have that mindset, and then when things happen, the solution, you'll be shocked that when you start to do your work and you start to calibrate and your vibration changes, and then when challenges, problems, whatever you want to call it, start to come up, and then the solution's already like running behind it, or you already got the solution, you was like, why am I thinking about this? And then the problem comes and you like, but you didn't realize what just happened. You got the solution to a problem that hadn't even happened yet. It happened, and you just inserted. Boom!
Mhm.
I'm telling you, it's amazing. It's amazing once you start to move like that.
Mm, that's dope. I like that. So, do you think men and women have the same type of shadow work that they do?
Nah,
You think it could be different or the same?
nah. I think it's super different, especially like black women. I mean, women in general, but I think more. I think it's way different for black women because they aren't, unless they've had women in their lives that have showed them and value themselves because it's the same way. Because I think women, because so we was having a conversation with some of the fellas, and I was asking what could women do for us to support us more and blah blah blah. And I'm thinking to myself, well, they asked me, like everybody said they different things, but they asked me, and I said, to be honest with you, bro, if they would focus on being the best mother, wife, person, whatever they are, if they focus on just being the best person that they are first,
Hmm.
I think the type of relationships that we'll have with our wives and our sisters and our cousins or whoever be or go to another level because now they understand them. And now each woman, now since they understand themselves, they're naturally nurturers. You can't tell me you've been at the store or you've been somewhere you don't know this lady at all, but she asked you something or she do something for you or whatever she did. She don't know you but she just did it just because. Just think if the women were healed or working on themselves or being in a space, man, the type I'm telling you, you talking about superpower, that right there, because I just think women are divine and all that stuff.
Yeah, they
Man,
are.
if they're in that space, bro, man, I'm telling you, the type of things that we will be able to do if she working on herself, she know how to handle herself, she know how to just deal and be the best version of herself, or just working to that step, and then because she's naturally is going to give, naturally is going to love on you, naturally going to care about
Mhm.
you, be considerate about the things that you want, and then she'll get to know herself, and then she'll know you. So then when you do come to the house and you have a little issue, or you may not even be able to say nothing, still we need to learn how to communicate as men. But she will feel, that's not right. That's not right. Let me ask. Let me go. Let you go get you 30 minutes. She only can do that because she's done it for herself.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
So there was a this guy. It was like a while ago. I was watching this. And we touched on this earlier. You was talking about how you got to give to yourself before you can give to other people. So
Mhm.
this guy went to therapy, right? He went to therapy, and he was saying that he was good at being a father, a husband, a worker, and a friend. He said he went to therapy so he can be a better father, worker, husband, and friend. So the psychiatrist asked him, "Well, you seem like a well-rounded person. Why do you feel like you need to be here?" He said, "I need to get better for these specific things." And she said to him, "A father is who gives. Is a father offers his kids. A husband offers his wife. A friend offers his friend, and a employee offers his boss." He said, "You are all of these things. But who are you to yourself?"
Mhm.
And he was thinking about it, and then he thought he don't know who he was for himself. He knew who he was for everybody else. So
Mhm.
now he started finding things that he liked. He started finding hobbies and stuff like that. And he was 30 something years old. He didn't know who he was. And I think that's an important thing because when dealing with shadow work, we put ourselves on the back burner to be a role player in everybody else's life.
Mhm. Mhm.
And sometimes we can go through depression or we can feel like we're not seen because we're only given what they need, but we're not given what they supposed to have. And I think that's why the shadow work is important because that's the part where you're gonna learn about yourself, the flaws and everything,
Right.
and how to cope with them in your daily life. Because let's just be
Mhm.
honest, ain't nobody is gonna be happy all the time, and we always ain't gonna always be aware because we gonna
Right.
slip up. And I think that is the human experience
Right.
to be able to have to experience everything, all emotions,
Right.
but to control it is another thing. You can experience all of it, but if you can't control it, then that's where the problems can come in. That's when the depression can come in. That's when the anger, the aggression,
Mhm.
and
Right.
the less of the emotional intelligence and the less of the emotional maturity.
Mhm.
So I think it can be techniques to it. I think depending on where that person's frequency is at that moment, I think that they can. I wouldn't say they have to find their own way because sometimes people don't know how to do shadow work.
Right. Right. You're right. You're right. And that's why I tell people because I've been asked about it. Start with the smallest things. Like right now, what do you know that you do that you wish, man, I could do better than that? Because everybody know. Everybody know. Are you a people pleaser? Are you a person that has to have a grand story about something every time you talk to somebody? Or is it something that you do habit wise that you're like, I gotta chill, I gotta whatever that start small. Because like you were saying, you all those things to other people, and then that's when you get mad that
Mm-hmm.
oh they didn't do nothing for me, or they don't know me like that, or you can't expect people to do stuff for you which you don't do for yourself. You can't.
Yep.
You cannot. You cannot. And like you said, he found different hobbies and different things. I think sometimes too, as men, we get frustrated because we don't do the things that we feel we want to do, either out of fear of it's new or out of fear like, nah, I can't be doing that. I can't be doing that. But then we still get mad because we still wanted to do it.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So once you just find space to do it, and if it's new, let it be new. It's okay to find new hobbies. It's okay to have done something, years ago that you've always liked to do and to not want to do it and to do something different. It's okay to grow. It is okay to grow and expand. I think sometimes we forget that.
Yeah. Yesterday, this was this is on topic. It's off topic, but it's on topic. I was watching. I don't know if you saw Kirk Franklin has something on YouTube like a Father's Day special.
Yeah, my wife was telling me about it. I seen a few clips. I ain't watched the whole thing.
Yeah, it was the Veil, um, DC Young Fly, Country Wayne, and another guy. I forgot his name. And they were talking about the pros and cons of being a black father.
Mm.
through the lens of the world,
Mm-hmm.
not through their eyes, but through
Right.
the eyes of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And DeVille was talking about. He said that it'd be so many things that I want to do, but I have to sacrifice those things because I have a wife and kid at home. And
Mm.
some things I can't do because I don't want to take me away from my kids.
Mm.
So I want to be there for everything. And he said it's hard to juggle. And he said, as much as I want to, be there and do this and do that, I still got to go out there and bring in the money. I got to bring in the bread and stuff like that. And he said he doesn't really have time for himself because he has
Mm.
to be a father, he has to be a husband, he has to be who he is out there in
Mm-hmm.
Hollywood. But he said he has little to no time to himself.
Mm.
So you being the father, you being a husband, and you say you work on your shadow self. Does it like get a little like intensely difficult for you to try to juggle all of that, even though I'm pretty sure you've been doing this spirituality thing for a while.
Not really that long, about 5 years. Not that long,
Oh,
bro.
you young getting like me. Mine started in 2017.
Yeah, about 5 years, bro. It ain't really been that long. I just my perspective on life was already in a certain place. I just didn't have the tools to move effectively. But my perspective on life was already, different. You know what I'm saying? Once I got the tools, everything just kind of expedited. I just kind of quantum jump from,
Okay.
each moment. But to answer your question, it did get difficult, but it's not now. I say it did because for that very reason. You don't have time, or you don't feel like you have time for yourself. You try to do different things, and you can't do them because you want to be here. You want to make sure everything's good. You want to be in place just in case something happens, and because we as men, we always planning. We always thinking from A to Z. I always say we're thinking in a full circle. If
Yeah,
this happens, then I need to do this. Boom, boom, boom. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
That's how I always
we're
think.
prepared by nature.
Indeed, indeed. But I say no now because and some people may not be morning people, but I wake up early and meditate. If I need to, I meditate throughout the day. What was a hack for me? Was a real hack for me is car rides. If I'm by myself, sometimes I don't even play music. I'm
Mhm.
just sitting there thinking, meditating while I'm driving, or the small moments, or if I want to eat outside,
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying? We come home about to eat. Then I say, well, I'm gonna go outside and eat. Or if I want to just sit on the porch, I'm sitting on the porch. Little stuff like that. You gotta carve out those little and it may only be 10 minutes, 5 minutes, because my girls gonna come out there, ask me what I'm doing. They want to ride their scooters, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
they,
Yeah.
they ain't
Yeah.
gonna let you get that much time by yourself. But to me, you have to maximize those moments that you can get by yourself. Like to me, for real, riding in the car is one of my biggest hacks because I can just music, chill, go to my destination, and just whatever I want to process, I process it. There. You know what I'm saying? Once I get up in the morning, I meditate. I can process a lot of stuff during that time. Or even if, because depending on how it works, if I'm coming home before my family and I know they may be on their way, but what I'll do, I'll sit and meditate before they get here.
Mhm.
That's another big. You gotta just find whatever those ways are for you. You gotta find them because they're there. They're there. A lot of times we scrolling, or a lot of times we looking at YouTube videos that we could be doing something else. We could be journaling, or we could be meditating, or whatever that is for you. Some people play music. Some people, you know, do a lot of different things. Do those things in those pockets. You know what I'm saying? Take advantage of it. Because once you start doing that, you'll start to feel better about yourself. You're able to process things a lot clearer. I always say like 30,000 feet view of situations because you're grounded enough. Everything it's clear. You know what I'm saying? I ain't saying I
Mhm.
made the right decision every time, but I can at
Right.
least understand that. Okay, this is what I need to do. How do I need to move? You know what I'm saying? So that's how I do it. I find those little pockets, and now I'm used to those little pockets now. Or like for instance, if I do want to go out or do something with the fellas, or we got a local tea spot that just opened, real dope, real cool, got a meditation room and all that stuff. On Fridays, I go there after work. That's just my thing. I'm gonna go there after work. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes my wife, if she's not doing no with her friends, she'll come meet me, but I'm there. I use that time, just chill, some dope tea, just, engage with the people that's there, or just I'm chilling by myself. I'll read. It's just, you gotta, again, find those pockets. To me, there's always opportunity at some point to get to a space where you can do what you want to do. Even if you gotta plan it. Plan it.
Yeah.
Plan it. Just say, hey, next month on this day, I'm going to do this. Do we have anything going on? Dun. I want to do this. This is what I'm gonna do. So if y'all need me, that's what I'll be doing. You know what I'm saying? And stick to it. Unless there's an emergency.
Right.
If there's really an emergency, I'll hear about it later. Y'all tell me about it. But I'm going to be whatever that is. You know what I'm saying? Some of us gotta find healthy, because some of us will say that and we'll do stuff that we may not need to be doing.
Yeah,
But,
I feel you.
You know what I'm saying? So, I'm not saying that. I'm saying if you're really serious about working on yourself, if you're really just trying to be the better version of yourself, you know what I'm saying? Use those times. You got to plan it. Say, hey, I'm going to do this on such and such date. And just do it. Don't let nothing stop you from doing it.
Okay.
Because we will. The smallest thing that happen, you're like, oh, they don't need me. Let me just, nope. They got it.
It's a book that helped change my life. Mm-hmm. Actually, a few of them, but it was these two particular books, The 4 Agreements and Mastery of Love.
Okay.
I think for anybody who wants to start, they don't have a starting point to do their shadow work.
Mm-hmm.
Read The Mastery of Love by Don Ruiz. I think that's his name.
Okay.
It teaches you. Well, the first thing I learned was the domesticated process. We grow up domesticated. We are domesticated into being something that our parents want us to be, our peers want us to be, our friends, family, but we don't know who we are for ourselves. So we're not truly happy, or we don't have true joy because we don't know who we are. So in order to break that domesticated process, you have to go discover yourself. And I really, this is just me personally, I'm really getting tired of hearing this phrase self-love, because I think people don't really know what that really means.
Right.
They like self-love, self-care. Oh, I'm taking myself to go get something to eat. That's self-love, self-care. Oh, I'm going to get my hair and nails done. That's self-love, self-care. In my mind, I'm thinking self-love is you're not trying to focus on the aesthetics of how you look. You're focused on your inner self at everything, the good, the bad, the ugly. That's what I feel like self-love is. You're focusing on your inner self, not your aesthetics.
Gotcha.
Because all that shit can wear off or fade away, but who you truly are inside is always going to remain. If you are a kind-hearted, generous, loving, giving person, that's just who you are. Right. But if you want to focus on this, the hair, the nails, and all that, you call that self-love. Like I don't see it as self-love. Me personally, I don't see it as self-love. I just feel like that's just something you want to do because you just trying to make yourself feel better, which is fine. That's okay for you. I'm just saying I don't see that like that. That's just
I got you. I think it'd be a combination of both. I think what you're talking about is more to me more important. But I think, and this is just me on this, I think once you start doing that, you just naturally want to take care of yourself. Like you naturally want to look good because you already know you look good. Like because I'm telling you, once you start working on yourself, the byproduct of doing this successfully is the confidence you're going to have. And when you have this confidence, you're going to want to dress different. You'll want to move different. You're gonna want to, you know what I'm saying, be in a space. You just want to take care of yourself in all aspects. So I see exactly what you're saying. I think it can be both, but I think what you're saying is the bigger portion of it. I think everything else is just a byproduct. Because I'm telling you, once you start doing this, and then good things start happening for you, you start to take these challenges from the universe and God, whatever you want to call it, and you start to knock these situations out and start doing these things well. That creates, I'm telling you, that creates something in you. You walk different. I'm just telling you, bro. The way you show up to places, people feel you before you come, because they already looking at the door and they're like, "What's is it?
They
Is
feel
the
that
sun?
energy. Yeah.
Yeah, is the sun shining out? I mean, I know this it's cloudy, but is the sun shining? And here you go walking in. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's just
That's the energy we all want, don't we?
right.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying, bro. What you start doing is the way you're gonna start to feel about yourself is gonna be crazy. And I'm not saying it from like an egotistical or arrogant way. To me, it's okay to feel good about yourself and be a light. It's okay. It's okay. You know, it's okay to wanna, feel good and be your best version. And if that looks like joy, happiness, well, it should look like joy, happiness, love, understanding, and power. I mean, for me, it's gonna show up different than it's gonna show up for you. You know what I
Right.
mean? And people will try to make you feel a little crazy for being the way you
Oh
are.
yeah. Oh yeah. Everything you gotta have your ops. You have to. What world would it be like if you didn't have your ops? You need your haters, man.
Right.
The haters fuel you. Like
So yeah.
they your motivation. Like, oh, you don't like me, you really not about to like me now.
Right. Right. I don't know what you're gonna do.
Right. You think you ain't like me now? Well, I'm just getting better. Oh, you gonna
Mhm.
hate my guts.
Right. But see, and then also too with that, even people, so once you start to vibrate different and you start to vibrate higher, and again, everything that we just kind of laid out, even when people have bad intention towards you or even don't know how to deal with you, it's only a certain way they can deal with you though. You know what I mean? Once you get
Yeah.
to a space where you just do what you do and how you do it, it's only a certain way that they can deal with you. Even if they really meant to not like you or to do something to you, it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. Like, I mean, I ain't saying someone can't do something to you, but they can't really do what they wanted to do.
Because
And I'm being
really, they
super
don't know because they don't know how.
exactly,
They
exactly,
be like, I
and
don't even know how to approach them. How can I come at them?
exactly. And even when you be around people that you've been around and they stop talking so much to you, or they're so quiet, or they act different, don't even take offense to that. This is a new version of you.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't even recognize this because either they know your past and they know different things you've been through, but now that you in this different space and now you got stuff going and then things happening for you and you expect that now, you just expect all this stuff to line up for you, and even like I said, even if a challenge comes, you know how to operate through that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, they're not going to know how to treat you anymore until they either gonna vibrate out of it, or you know if they still in your life, it's for a reason. And just understand that. Don't feel away when people start to change.
Yeah, don't take it personal. One of the four
Right.
agreements. Don't
Right.
take it personal.
Okay, that's what's up. I'm gonna get that.
Yeah, it's always do your best.
Mm-hmm.
Don't assume. Don't take it personal.
Right.
And who was the fourth one? I always get 3 out of the 4. It'll come to me. Don't assume. Always do your best. Don't take it personal. It'll come to me. But before we close out this show, I also want to say thank you again for joining me on my Miracle
Sure.
Mindset for Men
For sure.
podcast, episode 14, The Art of Shadow Work. Is
Yeah.
there any advice you would like to give the men out there, especially the melanated men who are going through what they're going through in America, about how to work on themselves in a time of emasculation?
Mm, mm.
So, brother, the floor is all yours.
I mean, to me, the best way to operate through this different paradigm and through how life is showing up for you, if you don't like it, if you want to do something different, is everything that we talked about. You know, understand who you are first, the good, the bad, the ugly. Understand that portion. And once you understand that and understand how brilliant, smart, clever, and amazing that you are, because one, you're still here. Two, all the situations that you've been through, challenges and all the different things, you've made it through. So you have a 100% rate on going through challenges. You've made it through them because you're still here. So understand that the way your mind works, the way that you have navigated through those spaces, you got to give yourself a pat on the back for that. You got to congratulate yourself, celebrate yourself, because some people, are doing whatever different things, and it really doesn't even matter about that. It matters about how you want to operate and how you want to move forward. So just get to know yourself better, work on yourself each and every day, journal, meditate. um you need, talk to somebody, find, saying somebody that you can, relate to, or even if you gotta, like, again, meditate and do breath work and that kind of thing. Do those things, but start with something small. Start with, if you know you got an anger problem, start with, how do I get less angry today? Like now, like Dr. B say, the to now. How do I start to get less angry now? Or how do I start to do less of whatever that thing is? Start with that. And then I'm telling you, once you start to knock this thing out in small increments, then you can move on to the bigger stuff. Family trauma, mother, father, different things that you've been through. Then you're able to have the consistency, the strength to go through those things. Because when you do this shadow work, you start to pull stuff that you have forgotten. I'm talking about, when I say forgotten, stuff that you have buried deep. And once you see, oh man, you start to pull stuff and excavate the different things that you've been through, and start to go back. Whew, it's rough at first trying to heal those parts of you that you hid away. And even you've made a persona of protection. And once you start to do this work, that persona of protection is no longer needed as it was. So you got to find a place for it. So, men, just understand how great and amazing and powerful you are. Um, you are so smart and intelligent to be able to be here and move the way you move. Telling you, your mind is incredible. The way you strategize, the way you think about it like this: you make space and you make room for other people to live a great life and do the things that y'all do. You do that for other people. Do that for yourself. Find a way to do that for yourself. I'm not saying like in a selfish way, but again, find a way to celebrate you, take care of you, and that is whatever that you feel you do. Once you start to change your mind, and once you start to get in a space where you start to feel better about yourself. So just say, what can I do to feel better about myself right now? Start now. Once you start to do that, man, I'm telling you, you'll start to fly.
Once again, I want to say thank you, David, for joining
Oh, for
me
sure, man.
on the podcast,
It's
man. That was very, very powerful.
wonderful to be here,
Uh,
bro. I appreciate the invite, man.
yeah, I'm grateful. So we had to do this again.
Oh, yes.
I enjoyed our
Yes.
conversation, man.
Yes.
In honor of Men's Mental Health Month,
Oh, yeah.
my objective this month was to get who I consider to be prolific Black men on my channel,
Appreciate that, man.
and speak to people who may need to hear this, to help them through a month or just through the rest of their life.
Right.
So let them know that they're not alone, and everybody may not be able to relate to everything that I'm saying. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why I think it's important that I get different point of views on here,
Right. Right.
and maybe y'all might be able to change somebody. Like maybe I might just be like the catalyst, and y'all actually I'm the point guard, and y'all the one I just pass the ball to, and then y'all,
You
So
still doing your thing, bro. You still doing your thing, man. You
yeah,
have a big voice, bro. So just know that it's definitely important.
yeah. So I'm just trying to I was trying to stay in my purpose, man. This is my purpose, and it feels good doing this. They really do.
You gonna do it, bro. I'm telling you, I'm a laugh about this whenever it happens. Whenever you have your live show and you doing that, I'll just you okay? You did. You laughing, but we had your live show with the audience and set and all that stuff.
Ooh, man. I was thinking. I was telling my dad this. I told him this yesterday. I was like, man, like this is just a start. Like I could start from doing live shows to being on somebody else's podcast, and then I talk in front of people from like hundreds of people to thousands of people, or 100,000 people. I said, listen, all y'all gonna have to like come work with me. I'm gonna need somebody, my market planner. I'm gonna need somebody to do all of this and
Oh
that.
yeah, hey, for real. Next time Rich have an event, bro, you should definitely post up if you can. I know you do a lot when Rich have events, but if you can, post up, do like a live from the event, even if Rich give you a space to do it, a booth or whatever, how that works, definitely. So you can get people in real time. You know what I'm saying? That'll be something, definitely. Oh, bro, that'll be crazy.
Ooh,
That'll
that'd
be
be a good
crazy.
idea. Hopefully, when he have another event, he'll let me be a speaker.
Hey, either way, bro. Either way.
But it's wishful thinking. It can manifest itself.
Oh no, it's already gonna do it, bro. Because we
Right?
already said it.
Hey, you say, hey, it's put out in the quantum. This is put out in the
That's
quantum
right,
field.
right.
Quantum
The
field. So that
vibration
means
is
it's
there.
about to
It's
happen.
just right. It just gotta manifest in this 3D, man. So you doing your thing, bro. You doing your thing for sure.
No, I really appreciate it, man. The more videos you post, the more I'm gonna be watching them.
Appreciate it.
Let me know when you're gonna start having guests, and I want to be one of your guests too.
I got you. I got you. Oh no, for sure, man. Yeah, we got to do this, man. We got to do this. So yeah. I got a lot of topics and a lot of different things coming up. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Maybe because I do plan to do a men's show in the next few months. So even if you can't, I mean, we probably won't be able to be there, but you may have to just tap in. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see though.
Yeah, no, for sure. Oh, I found the other fourth agreement. So it's be impeccable with your word. Don't
Mm-hmm.
assume. Don't take things personal, and always do your best.
Right.
That be impeccable with your word is important. Mean what you
Mm-hmm.
say
Right.
and say what you don't mean.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Well, like I said, thanks again, David. I appreciate you coming on the platform, man. I'm really in gratitude and grateful for this. And I will talk to you soon, bro.
All right, bro. You take care and have a great rest of the week, man.
All right, you too. All right, y'all. I will be back tomorrow or maybe Wednesday. I got another guest that's coming on tomorrow. So I will let y'all know when the day I'm going to do it. But all right, y'all have a good one. Peace.